I used to joke with my friends and say, she's just busy. Samir looked at me across the tea stall and said, busy for 3 years? I laughed and said, you don't understand her. He shook his head. No, you don't understand silence. That night I called her. She didn't answer. I texted, did I do something wrong? No reply. I waited. I always waited. When she finally called back the next day, she said, why are you so dramatic? I said, I was worried. She sighed. I was sleeping. I said, you slept for 20 hours? She said, you're exhausting. I told myself love needed patience. I told myself not everyone loved loudly. I told myself I was lucky she stayed at all. Can we meet this weekend? I asked her on another call. She said, I'll see. I said, you always say that. She said, stop pressuring me. I said, I just miss you. She went quiet. Then she said, you're too emotional. I repeated that sentence in my head for days. Too emotional. As if love was a flaw. My mother noticed first. She said, you smile less now. I said, work stress. She said, is it her? I said, no. She nodded like she didn't believe me but chose peace. One evening, Samir said, if she wanted to, she would. I snapped, not everyone is like us. He said softly, that's the problem. I defended her everywhere. She's busy. She's independent. She doesn't like texting. She shows love differently. One night, I sent her a long message. I wrote about my day, my thoughts, my plans. She replied with, okay. Just one word. I stared at it like it was a joke. I called her immediately. She answered, annoyed. What now? She asked. I said, did you even read it? She said, yes. I said, that's all you felt? She said, what do you want from me? I said, effort. She laughed. You're needy. That word stayed with me. Needy. Like love was begging. Weeks passed like that. Canceled plans. Late replies. Excuses that sounded rehearsed. I fell asleep. My phone died. I was with friends. You're overthinking. You always create problems. I apologized every time. Even when I didn't know what I did wrong. One night I said, do you still love me? She paused. Then said, why do you ask stupid questions? I said, because I feel alone. She said, then fix yourself. I went silent after that. Not because I healed. Because I was tired. The job offer came on a Tuesday. Foreign project. 2 years. Good money. A fresh start. I told Samir first. He said, go. I said, what about her? He said, what about you? That night I called her. She picked up after the 4th try. What is it? She asked. I said, I got an offer abroad. She said, oh. I waited. She said nothing. I'd be gone for a while, I added. She said, okay. I said, that's it? She said, what do you want me to say? I said, tell me to stay. She laughed lightly. Don't be childish, she said. Do what you want. That sentence broke something. Not loudly. Quietly. I said, so you're fine with this? She said, it's your life. I said, I thought we were building something. She said, you think too much. I ended the call. She didn't call back. That night I packed my bags slowly. Not clothes. Memories. Every ignored message. Every lonely night. Every excuse I accepted. At the airport my mother hugged me tight. She said, come back stronger. I said, I will. I checked my phone one last time. No message from her. No call. Nothing. I boarded the plane telling myself this is temporary. I didn't know silence could be permanent. The first night in the new country, I sat on the edge of my bed and said out loud, you should call her. I looked at my phone and said, no, wait. I waited. Nothing happened. The room felt empty, but it felt honest. No excuses. No waiting for replies. I called Samir instead. He answered immediately. So, he asked. So I'm here, I said. And she didn't call. He paused. Then said, now listen to that feeling. The first week at work was brutal. My manager said, you're late. I said, I'm adjusting. He said, adjust faster. I went home tired and reached for my phone without thinking. No messages. No missed calls. I opened our old chat. The last message was mine. I typed, I landed safely. I deleted it. I said quietly, if she wants to know, she'll ask. Days passed. Work, sleep, repeat. One night she finally texted. Busy. How are you? I stared at the screen. I typed, I'm fine. I didn't add anything else. She replied, good. That was it. No questions. No curiosity. At lunch the next day, a woman sat across from me. She said, you don't eat when you're stressed. I looked up. I'm not stressed, I said. She smiled. That's what stressed people say. Her name was Aisha. She said, I listen more than I talk. I said, that's rare. She said, so is peace. We worked late one evening. She asked, who do you call when you're tired? I said, no one. She said, that sounds lonely. I said, it's quieter. That night I didn't check my phone once. I slept deeply. Weeks passed. My calls to her stopped. So did hers. One evening Samir said, she hasn't asked about you? I said, no. He said, then stop asking about her. Aisha noticed small things. She said, you smile when you solve problems. I said, no one noticed before. She said, that doesn't mean it wasn't there. One night I got a message from an old friend back home. He said, you know she's close with someone now, right? I typed, don't start rumors. He replied, I'm just saying. I closed the chat. I told myself it didn't matter. A week later a photo arrived by mistake. She was laughing. Her hand was on another man's arm. I stared at it. I didn't feel anger. I felt clarity. I didn't call her. I didn't ask questions. That night Aisha said, you're quiet. I said, I learned something today. She said, what? I said, silence is an answer. I stopped trying after that. And for the first time I felt strong. When I landed back home, Samir hugged me and said, you look different. I said, I feel quieter. He smiled. That's strength. My phone rang before I even unpacked. I stared at the name. Sir. I answered calmly. You're back? She asked, almost surprised. Yes, I said. You didn't tell me. You didn't ask. There was a pause. Then her voice softened. We should meet. I said, sure. At the cafe she looked nervous. You've changed, she said. So have you, I replied. She laughed lightly. I missed you. I didn't say it back. She leaned forward. I was thinking about us. I said, I'm listening. She said, we wasted time. I said, you did. Her eyes widened. I didn't mean it like that, she said quickly. I know, I said. You never do. She reached for my hand. I didn't pull away. I didn't hold it either. You're so calm now, she said. I learned how, I replied. She talked about the past like it was blurry. She talked about the future like it was promised. I always knew we'd end up together, she said. I nodded. Inside I felt nothing. When I met her parents again, her mother smiled wider than before. You've done well, she said. I said, I worked hard. Her father said, stability matters. I agreed. Sarah whispered, they like you now. I said, people respect results. She laughed. You're impossible. No, I said. I'm awake. A week later she said, let's get married. I looked at her. She said, why are you quiet? I said, I'm thinking. She smiled. That means yes. I didn't correct her. When she told our friends, they cheered. Samir pulled me aside. Are you sure? He asked. I'm curious, I said. He frowned. About what? How long honesty lasts, I replied. That night Sarah said, I always believed in us. I said, you believed when it was convenient. She laughed it off. You're dramatic. She planned loudly. I listened silently. When she said yes officially, everyone clapped. I smiled. Inside I already knew. I wasn't choosing her. I was choosing the truth. I first heard his name from a friend, almost by accident. Rohan? She's been seeing him for years, he said casually. I laughed, thinking it was a joke. It's not funny, he continued. She's never mentioned him. Ever. I stared at my phone in disbelief. Why are you telling me this now? I asked. Because you should know, he said. I didn't reply for hours. I couldn't. That night I called her. Sarah, who's Rohan? There was a pause. Why are you asking? She said softly. I'm asking because I need the truth, I said. She sighed. You're imagining things. I'm not, I said, voice sharp. I have proof. She laughed nervously. Proof? What proof? Don't play games, I said. I'll see it myself if I have to. She went quiet. Then she said, you're overreacting. I said, no. I trusted you. I decided not to confront her directly. If I did, it would end in arguments, tears, and chaos. I wanted clarity first, not drama. I called Rohan. He answered after 2 rings. Yes, he said casually. This is Ariv, I said. Oh, hi. Don't hi me, I said. Were you with Sarah? He paused. Yes, he said finally. So what? So she was lying to me all this time, I said. He laughed lightly. Aren't you overthinking? Overthinking? Really? I said. I loved her. She ignored me for years. And you were there? He shrugged. She's my girlfriend. Nothing to do with you. You were her priority? I asked. Not your business, he said. I hung up. The betrayal hit harder than I expected. Not because of him. Because she still pretended nothing happened. I saw her the next day. She smiled at me. Why so quiet? She asked. I said, I have a lot on my mind. You've changed, she said. Yes, I said. I stopped waiting for excuses. She tried to reach for my hand. I didn't move. I didn't pull away either. I thought we were fine, she said softly. Fine? I repeated. You weren't honest with me for years. And now you smile? She went silent. I could feel her trying to maintain control. I realized I didn't need to yell. I didn't need to accuse. I just needed patience. I saw Rohan again later that week. I told her we should move on quietly, he said. Quietly? I said. So you didn't care about honesty? He shrugged. She chose me. You weren't around. I laughed bitterly. I wasn't around because I trusted her. And that's your excuse. It's life, he said. She made her choice. And you think that makes it okay? I asked. Better than crying over someone who isn't yours, he said. I didn't argue. I didn't curse. I just left. When I saw Sarah later that evening, she was cheerful. I got tickets for the show, she said. I said, I'm busy. Busy? She asked, pretending surprise. Yes. Priorities change, I said. She frowned. Ariv, what's happening with you? I said nothing. She tried to explain herself. I was young. I didn't know what I wanted, she said. I said, you knew exactly what you wanted. Just not me. Her eyes widened. You're being harsh, she said. I'm being honest, I replied. I spent the next few days watching quietly. Not confronting. Not pleading. Not begging. Every text she sent I ignored. Every call I let go unanswered. I focused on myself. Work, friends, small moments of peace. It felt strange at first. Liberating later. One evening, Samir asked me, aren't you angry? I am, I said. But I'm calm. How? Timing matters, I said. I don't need revenge yet. I just need clarity. You'll see, he said. She won't expect this. And I realized he was right. Revenge doesn't have to shout. Revenge can wait quietly. Revenge can be invisible until it lands. When Sarah called again, I answered softly. Hello, I said. Hi, she said. I wanted to see you. I'm seeing myself first, I said. What do you mean? She asked, confused. I mean I stopped waiting, I said. I stopped hoping. And you'll see me differently now. She didn't reply. I hung up. That night, I sat alone in my apartment. I whispered, I'm not broken. I'm learning. The betrayal stung. But the lesson was stronger. I smiled faintly, thinking about the calm storm I was preparing. I knew the truth would surface eventually. And when it did, it wouldn't be my voice that broke her, it would be reality. The morning of the wedding, I woke up before the sun. I didn't feel nervous. I felt detached. My phone buzzed. Sarah. I can't wait to see you today, she wrote. I stared at it. I typed back slowly, see you. I left my apartment quietly. No one noticed. I wanted it that way. At the venue, everything was perfect. Flowers, lights, laughter, chatter. Sarah was radiant, talking to friends, excited. Can you believe this day is here? She said as I walked past. I nodded. I know you're thinking, she said, but I can feel your excitement too. I smiled faintly. Inside I felt nothing. The priest started the ceremony. I could hear Sarah whispering to her mother. I can't believe it's finally happening. I imagined every word she ever lied to me with. Every excuse she gave. Every time she ignored me. Her father came over. You look good, he said. Thank you, I said. He frowned slightly. I smiled politely. He didn't know what I knew. No one did. She walked down the aisle. Her eyes found mine. I didn't flinch. I didn't smile. I just watched. She whispered, I always knew this was right. I said quietly, right for you maybe? Not for me. Her smile faltered. She thought I was joking. The vow started. Everyone's eyes on us. I heard her soft voice. Sarah, take you. I waited. Then I spoke. I won't take you, I said. The room froze. Sarah's hand trembled. The priest blinked. Guests gasped. What? She said. I'm not marrying you, I said. She laughed nervously. Arif, stop joking. I shook my head. I'm not joking, I said. I chose myself. She stammered. You what? I trusted you, I said loud enough for everyone to hear. I loved you while you ignored me. You lied to me, cheated me, treated me like an option. Today I'm done being an option. She tried to interrupt. Wait, Arif. I held up my hand. I'm done, I said. I won't shout, I won't insult you. I'm walking away. From this, from lies, from pretending. Her mother gasped. Don't do this, she shouted. Her father looked stunned. Guests whispered. Sarah's face turned pale. You're embarrassing yourself, she said, voice trembling. I said, no. I'm freeing myself. You embarrassed yourself years ago. She tried to reach for my hand. I didn't move. I didn't let her. I won't marry you, I said. And this isn't revenge. It's reality. You live in your lies, and today your lies ended publicly. I turned slowly, walking down the aisle. Guests stared. Sarah's face crumpled. Tears rolled silently. She wasn't crying for me. She was crying for control, image, and safety, things she thought she had. A friend whispered, wow, he's calm. I smiled faintly. Calm was my weapon. I reached the exit. The wind brushed my face. Freedom smelled like rain. I didn't look back. Later Samir found me. You did it, he said softly. I chose silence over chaos, I said. And it hurt more than any fight could have, he said. I nodded. Exactly. Sarah's sobs echoed behind the doors. I didn't flinch. I didn't run. I just walked forward. I sat in my car. The engine hummed quietly. I whispered, I'm not broken. I'm alive. The news spread fast. She called off the wedding? Everyone saw it? Yes. And he walked away silently. The power shift was complete. I didn't need screams. I didn't need confrontation. Truth and timing did it all. That night I sent one text, to Samir. Freedom tastes like this. He replied finally. I smiled. I realized something crucial. Silent revenge is the most piercing. You don't shout, you don't act in anger. You simply show up with truth, clarity, and boundaries. Sarah's world collapsed quietly but powerfully. And I didn't touch her. I didn't ruin her. I simply refused her anymore. I looked at the moon. I chose me, I whispered. And nothing feels better than that. I woke up that morning feeling lighter than I had in years. The sun streamed through the window and I realized I hadn't checked my phone once. No messages from Sarah. No missed calls. Just silence, and it felt good. I called my mother first. Mom, I said. Arif, are you okay? She asked. I am, I said. I'm finally okay. She laughed softly. You sound different. I feel different, I said. You deserve this, she said. I smiled quietly. Later Samir called. You're actually calm, he said. Calm doesn't mean weak, I replied. He chuckled. You were tense for years. I know, I said. I was waiting for someone who didn't care enough to stay. Sarah called that afternoon. I saw her name on the screen. My thumb hovered. I didn't answer. She called again. Still I didn't answer. Then she texted. Please Arif. I made mistakes. Can we talk? I stared. I typed nothing. I deleted the phone. Aisha called instead. Lunch? She asked. I smiled. Yes, I said. She waited for me at the cafe. You look at peace, she said. I am, I said. You should feel proud, she said. I am learning too, I replied. We talked for hours. Not about Sarah. Not about betrayal. Not about revenge. We talked about work, dreams, and small daily joys. You notice the little things, she said. I never noticed before, I said. Because you were too busy waiting for someone else, she said. I nodded. I admitted. That evening I visited my parents. They were waiting with tea. You're smiling again, my father said. I am, I said. Thank you for trusting me, my mother said. I said nothing. I just felt it. The quiet comfort of home. The warmth of people who mattered. The absence of lies. Weeks passed. I focused on work. I spent time with friends. I read books I'd ignored. I even started journaling. I wrote about my feelings, my mistakes, my growth. I forgave myself for waiting too long. I forgave myself for pretending patience was love. Sarah reached out several times. She sent flowers. She left voicemails. I didn't respond. Not because I wanted to hurt her. Because I didn't need her anymore. I realized that my love for her had been love of hope, not reality. And reality had changed. One evening, Samir said, "You're different. Stronger." "I don't feel empty anymore," I said. "I feel alive." "You finally stopped needing her," he said. "I did," I said. "I shall notice small changes too." "You laugh freely now," she said. "I stopped carrying past pain," I said. "You're present," she said. "I am," I said. I reflected quietly one night, alone in my apartment. Years lost chasing someone who never chose me. Years wasted defending excuses, tolerating silence, justifying neglect. And yet I didn't feel bitter. I felt grateful. Grateful for the lessons. Grateful for the clarity. Grateful for myself. I thought about Sarah. She wasn't evil. She just wasn't for me. Her regret wasn't mine to fix. Her lies were her own weight to carry. And I let her carry it. I decided to go for a walk. The city lights shimmered. People passed by, unaware of my inner shift. I smiled quietly. I realized I had regained control of my life. My happiness didn't depend on her. I called Samir again. "I feel free," I said. "Finally," he said. "Yes," I said. "I finally understand. I didn't lose her. I found myself." Days later, I met Aisha for coffee. "Do you feel ready?" she asked. "For what?" I said. "For life without illusions," she said. "I am," I said. We laughed, talked, and shared stories. Not about pain. Not about betrayal. Just the real moments. I realized for the first time in years that I was present. That I was choosing honesty, not habit. Sarah's attempts to contact me faded. Her regrets became quiet. And my peace became louder. I didn't need closure from her. I didn't need apologies. I had closure inside me. I went home one evening and looked at the mirror. "I see him now," I whispered. Not the boy who waited. Not the one who tolerated lies. Not the one who cried silently for years. I saw a man who valued himself. A man who understood that love isn't patience at someone else's expense. I sent one last message. Not to her. Not to Rohan. To myself. I am enough. I choose me. Always. The wind brushed my face as I walked to the balcony. I felt light. I felt whole. I didn't win by destroying anyone. I won by no longer needing anyone. I smiled faintly, watching the city lights twinkle. Life was ahead of me. Real, honest mine. And for the first time I was truly free.